Welcome to the Curious Room.
It feels a little different in here today, doesn't it? Usually we have the lights up, we've got the whiteboard out, we're drawing connections.
Yeah, lots of data points.
But today, I don't know, it feels like we need to dim the lights.
We do. I want to set a very specific scene for everyone listening. And I don't just want you to picture it, I want you to really feel it.
Inhabit it.
Because the topic we're tackling today, or I guess the feeling we're exploring, it doesn't happen in a boardroom.
No.
It doesn't happen in a classroom. It happens in the most intimate space you own.
It happens when the day is done.
Exactly. So you're listening to this. I want you to imagine it's 2:14 in the morning. The house is quiet.
And not just quiet. It's that deep, heavy silence.
Yes. Where you can hear the refrigerator humming 3 rooms away. You can hear the house settling.
You've done the whole routine. You brushed your teeth, put the phone on the charger.
Face down, hopefully.
Face down. You read a few pages of a book until your eyelids got heavy.
You are physically ready. Your body temperature has dropped. The melatonin is doing its thing. You are heavy in the duvet. You're in that drift.
That beautiful liminal space.
Between being a person and just being a sleeping body. And then ping.
And it's not a notification on your phone.
Whoa.
It's a notification from inside your own head.
It is the ping of doom.
Huh.
And it's not a random thought. It's not, oh, did I buy eggs?
No, never.
It is a high-definition, 4K surround sound replay of a moment from 2017.
Oh, yeah. The time you called your teacher mom, or the time you went for a handshake and the other person went for a fist bump.
And you just end up sort of holding their fist.
That weird, tender hold.
The potato mash hand grab. I have one of those on file. It's devastating. Or maybe it's deeper. Maybe it's a sentence you said to a friend that just didn't land right.
A joke that was met with absolute vacuum-sealed silence.
Yes. And suddenly, sleep is gone. Yeah. Your heart rate spikes. You feel hot. You are physically wincing in the dark.
The cringe attack.
It's the cringe attack. And what's so fascinating about the source material we're diving into today, this idea of echoes in the dark, is how it reframes this whole experience.
Right.
Because when I'm lying there at 2 in the morning, I feel like I'm broken. My brain is malfunctioning. I'm thinking, why? Why are we doing this right now? I need to sleep. This is actual torture.
And that reaction, that why is this happening to me, that's actually the first layer we have to peel back.
Okay.
Because the research suggests this isn't a malfunction at all. It's not a glitch. It is a very specific, evolutionarily driven mechanism.
It feels like a glitch.
It feels like one. But your brain isn't trying to torture you. It's trying to do something else entirely.
Well, it feels like torture. It feels like my brain is this bully that waits until I'm at my most vulnerable and then just beats me up with my own history.
I get that. I do. It absolutely feels like that. But if we look at the cognitive science behind it, it's actually an attempt at problem solving.
Solving.
A misguided attempt, maybe, especially at 2 a.m., but a functional one.
So our mission today is to unpack that. We're not here to give you 10 tips for better sleep.
No chamomile tea recommendation.
None of that. We are here to understand the architecture of the 2 a.m. cringe. Why does it happen? Why is it always the negative stuff? And why, specifically, does it happen when the lights go out?
We're going to look at the role of uncertainty, the difference between the night brain and the day brain, and how we can maybe change the way we tell these stories to ourselves.
That narrative part, I think that's going to be key. But let's start at the beginning. The environment.
The dark.
The source material uses this title. Echoes in the dark. And I think we need to linger on that word, echo. Because an echo doesn't just create itself, it's a reflection.
Precisely. And for an echo to be heard, you need 2 things. You need a surface for it to bounce off of. And most importantly, you need a lack of interference. You need silence.
Let's talk about the interference first, the daytime brain. Because the sources make a really interesting distinction between how our brains work at 10 a.m. versus 10 p.m.
Right. Think about your average Tuesday morning. What is your brain actually doing?
Oh, it's dodging traffic. It's reading Slack messages. It's listening to a podcast. It's wondering what's for lunch. It is processing a huge amount of external data.
We call that a high signal-to-noise environment. But in this case, the noise isn't just sound, it's all sensory input.
Visual, social cues, deadlines.
All of it. The brain is in executive mode. It is prioritizing immediate survival and, task completion. It literally does not have the bandwidth to process deep archival memory.
So the awkward thing I said to my boss 3 years ago, that memory is still in there during the day. It's just hiding.
It is there. It's running in the background. Think of your brain like a computer with 50 tabs open.
Okay.
The memory of that awkward interaction is in a tab that's minimized. The operating system, your consciousness, is just allocating all its RAM to the active tabs.
The email I'm writing, the meeting I'm in.
The car you're driving, the conversation you're having right now.
Okay, so I'm busy, I'm distracted, I'm safe from the cringe because I'm just too busy surviving the day.
You are. But then the sun goes down. You go into the bedroom. You turn off the lights. The visual input drops to almost zero. Auditory input drops. Social demands, gone.
The bandwidth opened up.
Bandwidth opens way up. And the brain is an association machine. It abhors a vacuum. It doesn't like static. So when the external stimulation stops,
The internal stimulation gets louder.
the volume of the world goes down, so the volume of the self goes up.
That makes so much sense. But here's the part where I get stuck, and I think this is where most of us get frustrated. If my brain is just looking for content to fill the silence,
Yeah.
why doesn't it pick the highlight reel?
The highlight reel.
Yeah. Why don't I lie in bed remembering the time I nailed a presentation, or the time I made a whole room laugh, or that really good hair day I had in 2019?
Right.
Why does it go straight to the time I tripped on the stage at graduation? Why does it have this heavy bias towards the pain?
This is where we have to leave the physics of echoes and get into the biology of survival. We have to talk about the negativity bias,
Okay.
but it's deeper than just being negative. It's about data prioritization.
Explain that. Data prioritization.
To your brain, especially the really old parts, like the amygdala, a positive memory is, well, it's nice to have. It's a luxury item.
Yeah.
But a negative memory, especially a socially negative one, that's essential data.
Essential for what?
For survival. Imagine you're a prehistoric human. If you remember a beautiful sunset, that's great. It makes you feel good. But if you remember the specific rustling sound in the bushes that turned out to be a tiger,
That memory keeps you alive.
that memory keeps you alive.
Okay, but tripping on stage isn't a tiger. Me waving at a stranger by mistake isn't life or death.
To your conscious mind, no. But to your social brain.
It's It might as well be. I mean, for almost all of human history, our survival depended entirely on the tribe.
We're pack animals. We are. We don't have claws. We don't have sharp teeth. We're not that fast. Our only real survival strategy is other people.
So staying in the group is life or death.
Exactly. If you were weird, if you broke social norms,
If you were incompetent.
you risked ostracization. And in the Paleolithic era, being kicked out of the tribe meant death. You starve or you get eaten. It's that simple.
So when I cringe at an awkward silence I created, or when I replay a bad joke, my brain is actually reacting to a death threat.
It's reacting to a threat to your social standing, which it has coded as a death threat. When the lights go out and the distractions fade, your brain runs a diagnostic check. It scans the archives, and it flags the errors.
It's a bug report.
It's a bug report. It says, hey, remember this error? We need to review this file. We need to make sure this never happens again, because if it does, we might get kicked out of the cave.
That is so intense. It's such a high-stakes reaction for something so small.
It's a mismatch. That's what evolutionary psychologists call it, an evolutionary mismatch. We have a Stone Age operating system running in a modern world. Wow.
Your brain treats a grammatical error in an email with the same severity as insulting the tribal chief.
So let me see if I can summarize this. The reason this happens at night is just because the noise of the day is gone, and that reveals the background processes.
Yes.
And the reason the thoughts are negative is because my brain is prioritizing threat data over happy data in a really misguided attempt to keep me safe.
That is a perfect summary. You are not being bullied by your brain. You are being protected by a bodyguard who is way too aggressive.
A bodyguard who tackles me because I sneezed.
Exactly. A bodyguard who wakes you up at 3 a.m. to show you a security tape from 5 years ago, screaming, look at this threat, when it's just a tape of you tripping over a shoelace.
Okay, so we have the mechanism, we have the why, but the source material goes a layer deeper, and this is where I really want to dig in.
I think I know where you're going.
It suggests the core feeling here isn't actually embarrassment.
No, it's not.
It says the core feeling is uncertainty. This is the critical pivot. We label it cringe, we label it shame, but if you look at the mechanics of what the brain is actually doing, it's wrestling with the unknown.
Can we break that down? Because when I think about the time I waved at someone who wasn't waving at me, I feel pretty certain I look like an idiot. I feel 100% certain of that fact.
You feel certain about your internal experience. You know you felt your face get hot. You know you felt silly. But do you know what the other person thought?
Well, no. I mean, I assume they laughed at me, or maybe they thought I was weird, or maybe they didn't even see it.
And there it is, the maybe. Did they see you? Did they tell their friends later? Did they think you were arrogant? Or did they just think, oh, they must know someone behind me? You don't know.
You can't know.
You cannot know.
It's an unsolved case.
We call this an open loop. In psychology, there's this concept called the Zeigarnik effect.
Okay.
It was discovered by a psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik. She noticed that waiters in a cafe could remember these incredibly complex orders perfectly while the bill was still unpaid.
But then what happened?
As soon as the bill was paid, as soon as the transaction was complete, they forgot the order almost instantly.
Because the task was done. The brain flushed the cache.
Exactly. The brain holds on to uncompleted or interrupted tasks. It keeps them in the active RAM.
So if I had walked up to that person I waved at and said, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I thought you were Dave, and they said, no worries, happens all the time, that loop would be closed.
Yes. It's resolved. The file is closed and put away in the neutral memories folder.
Yeah.
But the phantom wave. You walked away. You never got closure. You never got the final piece of data.
So the brain keeps the file open on the desktop.
It keeps spinning the simulation,
Right.
trying to calculate the social damage.
And that's spinning.
Yeah.
That's the feeling of uncertainty.
Yes. And here is the kicker, and this is crucial for anyone listening to understand. The human brain hates uncertainty more than it hates bad news.
That just sounds wrong. Surely bad news is worse. Surely knowing for a fact that I failed is worse than maybe failing.
You would think so, but let's look at the data. There was a famous study, a bit cruel, but very illuminating, involving electric shocks.
Oh boy, the classic.
Participants were split into two groups. Group A was told, you have a 100% chance of receiving a painful electric shock right now.
Okay.
Group B was told, you have a 50% chance of receiving a shock.
I would take the 50% chance. Every single time.
Yeah.
It's better odds.
Intellectually, yes, but physiologically, the results were shocking. The people who knew the shock was coming, 100% certainty, were actually calmer. Their stress markers were lower.
Why?
They braced for it, they took the hit, they processed the pain, and they moved on. They could prepare because they knew the parameters of the threat.
Okay, so what about the 50-50 group?
Their stress levels spiked off the charts. They were sweating, heart racing, agonizing. Their nervous systems were going absolutely haywire.
Because they were in limbo. They couldn't brace for impact because they didn't know if the impact was even coming.
The brain cannot model the future when the data is missing. It burns a massive amount of energy trying to predict the unpredictable. So when you lie in bed thinking about that awkward conversation, your brain is essentially saying, I would rather know for a fact that they hate me than have to wonder if they might.
That explains the physical feeling the source mentions. Because it's not just in my head. When this happens to me, my legs get restless. My chest gets tight. It feels like I'm waiting for a jump scare in a horror movie.
That's a perfect analogy. It is the suspense music. The monster hasn't appeared yet. It's just that low droning cello, that quiet tension, is your body preparing for a threat that isn't actually there.
And it makes sleep impossible.
Impossible. And because we can't time travel, we can't fix the past interaction, we can't close the loop.
So we loop internally. We just replay the tape.
We replay it, we edit it. What if I'd said this? What if I just looked away? We're trying to solve a puzzle that has missing pieces.
This connects so well to the specific examples the source wants us to cover. Because this uncertainty thing, it doesn't just apply to the past. It applies to right now.
It applies to how we live our lives during the day, which then comes back to haunt us at night. The source highlights three big categories of this: waiting, decisions, and the unknown future.
Let's start with waiting. That is such a distinct flavor of anxiety. I think everyone knows this feeling.
It's the specific agony of the three dots.
Oh, the bubbles. You text someone, maybe a crush, maybe your boss, and you see the bubbles pop up, and you wait. And then they disappear, and no text comes through.
What happens to you physically in that moment?
I freeze. I literally stop breathing. I stare at the phone like it's a bomb, and my mind just starts racing. Did I offend them? Are they writing a huge paragraph breaking up with me? Did they just get a phone call? It's a spiral.
That is the echo-in-the-dark mechanism happening in real time. The uneasiness isn't because of what they said, it's because of what they haven't said yet.
It's the gap.
It is the gap where the monsters live. And think about waiting for medical test results. That's the highest stakes version of this. The waiting period is often psychologically more agonizing than the result itself.
That's so true. Once you have a diagnosis, even a bad one, you have a plan. You have a protocol. You have concrete steps. Okay, this is what we do.
But the waiting room is pure uncertainty. It's a vacuum, and the brain fills that vacuum with the worst-case scenarios to prepare you.
So that restless, vibrating, waiting energy, is the same energy I have at night.
Yeah.
I'm lying in bed waiting for a resolution to a past event that is never, ever going to come.
It's a permanent waiting room.
Wow. Okay, the second example, decisions. This one hits close to home for me. I am terrible at making decisions.
Decision paralysis is very common.
I have this with small things, like at a restaurant trying to pick between the burger and the pasta. It's not because I don't know what I like. It's because, what if the pasta is better?
It's the fear of the counterfactual.
The what?
The counterfactual. The life you didn't live. The meal you didn't eat. When you choose the burger, you kill the possibility of the pasta. You create a ghost pasta that might have been amazing.
Ghost pasta. I love that. But take that to a bigger scale. Moving to a new city, taking a new job.
Breaking up with a partner. The stakes are higher, so the paralysis is deeper. When you make a big choice, you create a split in the universe. There's the path you took and the path you didn't take.
And you start to haunt yourself with the ghost path.
Exactly. When things get hard on the path you took, maybe the new job is stressful. You think, if I had stayed in my old job, I would be happy right now. You idealize the unchosen path.
And at night, you're replaying a past decision. Should I have taken that job in Chicago 5 years ago? Wrestling with the uncertainty of the road not taken.
Your brain is trying to simulate a life you didn't live to see if it was better, but you can never know.
That's the maddening part. I can't know if Chicago would have been better. I might have moved there and been completely miserable.
You can never know. It's a variable that cannot be solved. But the brain, in its desperate quest for certainty, tries to solve it anyway.
It's a ghost story. We are literally haunting ourselves with our own ghost lives.
That is a beautiful and terrifying way to put it, yes.
Which leads us to the third example, the unknown future.
Yeah.
Which is, that's the ultimate uncertainty, isn't it?
It is the ultimate void. When you're lying in a dark room, visually, what are you looking at?
Nothing. Shadows. The ceiling.
You're looking into nothingness. That visual void becomes this powerful metaphor for the temporal void. The future. You can't see tomorrow. You can't see next year.
And for a brain that craves patterns and safety, that blindness must be terrifying.
It is. The brain is a prediction engine. Its main job is to predict what happens next to keep you alive. When it looks at the future and sees a blank wall, it panics a little.
So it tries to paint on the wall.
It tries to fill the gap. And since it doesn't know the future, where does it get its paint? Where does it get the material to build the simulation?
From the past.
From the past. It grabs your archives, it grabs your mistakes, your fears, your traumas, and it projects them forward. It says, well, since you messed up that speech in high school, and since you felt awkward at that party last year, you are probably going to fail at the big presentation tomorrow.
It's using bad data to build a scary model of the future.
It is filling the silence with noise because the silence feels dangerous. It would rather predict a disaster than predict nothing.
Okay, so we have this mechanism completely mapped out now. We get it. It's common. It's driven by a dislike of uncertainty. It happens at night. Now comes the million-dollar question.
I know.
The listener is lying there, nodding along, maybe feeling a little understood, but they're probably thinking, okay, great, I understand why I'm miserable. Now how do I stop it? Give me the life hack.
And this is where we have to pivot. This is the most important part of this entire deep dive because that instinctive reaction, the fix-it reaction, is actually part of the problem.
The source material was so clear on this. It said, gentle reflection, not solutions.
That is the key phrase. If you try to fight the thoughts, if you try to forcefully push them away, what happens?
They just push back harder. It's like the white bear problem.
Remind our listeners what that is.
If I tell you right now, do not think of a white bear. You can think of anything else, but do not think of a white bear. What happens?
Immediately, a giant white bear appears in my mind.
And if you fight it, if you say, no, go away, bear, it just gets bigger. It starts doing a little dance.
Exactly. It's called ironic process theory. When you try to suppress a thought, part of your brain has to constantly check to see if you are in fact thinking it.
Wait, really?
Yes. To know not to think about the bear, a part of your brain has to keep the bear in mind as a reference point. So you create a monitoring process that keeps the thought alive.
So if I lie in bed thinking, I must not think about that embarrassing moment, I need to sleep, stop thinking about it, I am just pouring gasoline on the fire.
You are adding tension. You are signaling to your brain that this thought is a huge threat. And if it's a threat, the bodyguard we talked about earlier, he locks down the building, he stays alert to monitor the threat.
So we can't fight it, we can't suppress it. What is the alternative? Just surrender, right?
Surrender, reframing. The source suggests using the power of narrative. It says to be a calm, thoughtful storyteller.
The storyteller. Okay. So instead of being the victim of the memory, I become the narrator of it.
Yes, you shift your perspective. Right now, when the memory hits, you are in the memory. You're reliving it. You feel the heat in your face. You feel the shame. You're the protagonist in a tragedy.
Right. I'm back in the classroom. I'm back at the party.
We want to move you from the stage to the audience. Or better yet, to the narrator's booth. You reframe the experience. Instead of a siren blaring, emergency, embarrassment, you frame it as just a story.
Here's the story of the time I waved at the stranger.
It was a funny moment. I was human. I made a mistake. It's about changing the tone of your internal voice.
So instead of a harsh critic with a megaphone?
Imagine it's a kind, older friend sitting in a rocking chair. Oh yes, that happened. That was a bit silly. But look, you survived. You're here now. It's okay.
That brings in the element of comfort and humanity the source talked about. It's about acceptance.
Acceptance is the antidote to the resistance that keeps us awake. It's actually saying to your brain, thank you for bringing this up.
Thanking the brain, that sounds crazy. Thank you for making me miserable.
Yeah. No, it's thank you for trying to protect me. Remember, it's a bodyguard. If a bodyguard thinks he sees a threat and you start yelling at him, he just gets more stressed.
Oh.
But if you say, I see it, thank you, it's not a threat, it's just a shadow, we're good, he stands down.
I see. It diffuses the entire fight. Thanks, brain. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're checking for social threats. But this happened 5 years ago. We are safe in bed right now. We're good.
It creates distance. You're acknowledging the memory without merging with it. You let it drift through the room like a cloud rather than grabbing onto it and wrestling with it.
This reminds me of mindfulness practice. The idea of sitting on a park bench watching traffic go by.
That's a great model for it. You sit on the bench, you watch the cars, you don't run out into traffic and try to stop every car, you don't scream at the red cars for being red.
You just watch them pass. There goes a red one. There goes a blue one.
There goes the embarrassing memory of the 8th grade dance. There it goes.
Yeah.
It's loud, it's ugly, but it's moving, and now it's gone.
You let the unknown and the memory of the unknown just sit there. You coexist with it.
And this is where the curious room idea really shines. If you treat your mind at night as a room for curiosity rather than a courtroom for judgment, the whole vibe changes.
It becomes a safe place, a place where you can be imperfect.
Because let's be honest, and this is something I really want you to hear, the fact that you even have these embarrassing memories proves something very important about you.
What's that?
It proves you care. It proves you are attuned to other people. It proves you want to be a good social citizen. Sociopaths don't lie awake at night worrying if they hurt someone's feelings. Narcissists don't lose sleep wondering if they looked silly or arrogant. They just don't care.
Wow. I never ever thought about it that way. The cringe is actually proof of empathy.
It's proof of social sensitivity. It is proof that you value your connection to others. It's a side effect of being a caring human being who wants to belong. The pain you feel is the cost of caring.
That is actually really comforting. It turns the shame into a badge of honor almost. I'm cringing because I'm a good person.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
You aren't broken. You're just human.
So as we start to wind this down, I want to change our pace a little bit. We've done the heavy lifting. We've looked at the science, the evolution, the psychology, but now we are back in the room.
Let's slow it down. Let's take a breath.
If you are listening to this right now, maybe in the dark, maybe staring at that ceiling, just take a moment to feel the bed supporting you. Feel the weight of the duvet.
Let your shoulders drape away from your ears. Unclench your jaw. That tension you're holding, that's the bodyguard waiting for orders. You can tell him he can stand down.
Realize that the echoes you hear are just that, echoes. They can't hurt you. They are just sounds bouncing off the walls of a quiet room.
And remember the mission we started with. We aren't here to fix anything. We're here to understand. You have understood that your brain is just looking for patterns. It's uncomfortable with the unknown. And that's okay.
It's okay to not know. It's okay that you don't know what that person thought of you 5 years ago. It's okay that you don't know exactly how the future will play out. It's okay that there are open loops.
The unknown isn't a predator. It's just space. It's just room for things to happen.
We want to leave you with a thought to take with you into sleep. A little something to mull over that isn't a judgment or a worry. A question to replace the cringe.
We've talked so much about how the brain dislikes the unknown, how it fights it with certainty, even painful certainty. But here is the question.
What is it?
If our brains only replay these moments because they dislike the unknown, what happens if we just let the unknown sit there?
What if we don't try to solve it?
What happens if we invite the unknown into the room? Imagine it sitting in a chair in the corner. It's not doing anything. It's just sitting there. It has no answers. But it has no threats either.
What if we just let it be?
What if the unknown is a guest in the room and we just say, "Hello, I see you. Turn out the light and go to sleep anyway."
A quiet coexistence with the mysteries of our own lives.
Exactly. The mystery is where the life happens. Good night, everyone.
Sweet dreams from the Curious Room.